Today on General Hospital, Drew has a surprise for Sam and Scout. Molly and TJ have a disagreement, and Finn meets with the hospital's lawyer. At the hospital, Portia asks if Liz has heard from Austin as he's late for his shift. Liz says she's tried to call him but hasn't gotten through. Finn interrupts to have Portia sign off on a treatment for a patient per protocol. She looks it over and agrees with his assessment and approves it. Finn walks off, and Portia tells Liz that was tough. Liz says Finn is an expert in his field, but Portia says she's not the enemy here, and they have to follow procedure. Liz understands and says this whole thing is frustrating. Portia leaves and Liz makes more calls about Austin later. Liz checks on Finn in his office. She tries to help him relax by guiding him through a breathing exercise. After he relaxes, she tells him to listen to her as she tells him that he's done nothing wrong. Finn says he can't help but think about what happened, and if he overlooked something. She reminds him that the first lesson they learn in medicine is they aren't God, and sometimes the patients think they are and can cure them of anything. There is a knock at the door, and it's the lawyer, Diddy Clark, who is representing the hospital in the lawsuit. Finn invites her in, and the lawyer lets Liz know they may need to interview her in the future, but right now she needs to speak to Finn. Liz leaves them, and Finn explains he's retained his own counsel. She says her job is to defend the hospital, and she apologizes if her questions are intrusive. She needs to know everything so there are no surprises in court. The lawyer asks about the details of Muldoon and the case. Finn explains Muldoon's complaints and the tests he ran, which came back positive for a tapeworm among other things like low blood cell counts. He says he spoke to him a few days later and asked him to come in for a follow-up, but he refused as he had another trip. He explains he finally came in 2 months later, and that's when further tests revealed he had stage 4 cancer. The lawyer asks about the symptoms he complained about initially, and if Finn considered they could have been signs of cancer. Finn thinks he needs his lawyer present before answering any more questions. TJ runs into Molly, who came to tell him that she made an appointment to find a new surrogate. TJ is upset that Molly agreed to meet new surrogates without asking him. Molly says she hasn't agreed on a new one, just to meet with them and the surrogate matcher. TJ feels this is moving too fast, and he's still processing his grief. He knows he's not ready to try again right now. TJ is paged and has to go. Molly runs into Dr. Navarro, who extends her condolences on her surrogate's miscarriage. She asks if she and TJ will try again. Molly admits she's not sure she and TJ can go through this again. Dr. Navarro notes while miscarriages are common in the first trimester, there are many parents who are proof surrogacy works. She wishes Molly the best. Liz meets up with Portia, who is with TJ. She still hasn't heard from Austin and offers to go to his apartment to check up on him. Portia asks TJ if he could stay late to cover Austin's shift, and he says the timing is perfect as he and Molly had an argument. Later, Liz returns, and she says there has been no sign of Austin at his place since before Thanksgiving. Liz wonders if they should call the police. Sonny drops by Sam and Don's place. He asks Sam how her Thanksgiving was, and she says it was different. They talk about what they did, and Sonny says next year he's going to host a big feast for the family. Dant appears and asks his dad what brings him by. Sam and Scout take off to meet up with Drew at the Metro Court, as Scout is interviewing him about his job for school. Once they leave, Sonny explains he came about the man who tried to kill Ava. Sonny asks about Mason, and if there is a plea deal in the works. Danta can't discuss details but asks why he is interested. Sonny wants him thrown away for life, but Danta says the theory is Mason was ordered to kidnap Ava for his boss, and they're trying to get a name out of him. Sonny tells him he knows who it is. Sonny reveals it's Cyrus, and fills Dante in on the scheme with Betty and the planted information that Betty gave to Mason, who gave it to Austin, who gave it to Cyrus. Dante calls Austin's number, but gets connected to a detective with the Potok PD who informs him that Austin is dead. After getting off the phone, Dante assumes Sonny will learn about this soon enough and reveals that Austin was shot dead in his house in Potok. He asks if Sonny knows anything. Sonny says to give him more credit. If he wanted Austin to disappear, he would. Dante says now he has to find out who killed Austin. Sonny tells him, no you don't. Sonny says he should leave this to the Potok cops, but Dante says Austin lived and worked in Port Charles. Dante says his dad could save them trouble if he tells them who he suspects. Sonny assumes it was Cyrus and departs. Sonny heads to his car and calls someone to meet him at the Metro Court, as there is something they need to know. Dante arrives at the PCPD and the detective from Poptalk is waiting for him. Dante meets him, and he requests Dante's cooperation in investigating Austin's murder. Alexis meets with Laura at the Port Charles Grill. They sit down, and Cyrus lurks in the background. Laura asked her to meet to talk about Esmem and her performance at work. Alexis gives her a glowing review, and Laura is pleased as she's co-signing a lease for her to move out. Alexis is worried about how Spencer will deal with this, and Laura is as well. Laura says Spencer is sad about the move, but he's not angry anymore and isn't fighting it. Alexis assumes that has something to do with Trina. Laura believes having Ace in his life has proven beneficial for Spencer, and he's no longer the grandchild she's most worried about. Alexis assumes that she means Charlotte. Laura thanks Alexis for reporting the crime respectably and leaving the names of those involved out. Laura doesn't want Charlotte exposed to the media and wants to shield Anna from any more grief. Alexis admits if it was someone else she'd have used it as a case and a scathing article for why no one should carry guns. Suddenly Cyrus drops a tray of glasses. The manager scolds Cyrus and orders him to clean it up, and that the glasses will come out of his pay. Alexis says either that man doesn't know who Cyrus is or he has a death wish. Alexis and Laura discuss if Cyrus is reformed or not. Laura says she and Martin talked about the same matter, and she's decided to give him the benefit of the doubt as everyone deserves a second chance. Alexis heads out. Later, Molly arrives at the Port Charles Grill to meet Claire Brown, the surrogate matcher. Sam and Scout meet with Drew at the Metro Court, and he's so excited to talk to her about his work. Scout starts the interview. She asks why he started the company, and Drew explains he and her mom started it for her. The interview concludes, and Drew tells Scout that he has some big news for her. He says he has a friend on the board of Westwood Academy, a fancy prep school for girls, and he made a spot available for Scout. Sam is surprised as they never talked about this, and Westwood is expensive, and there is an epic waiting list. Drew says it's an amazing opportunity. They have the best swimming program in the state, and a great study abroad program for when she gets older. Scout agrees to go if it's what her dad wants, but Sam looks conflicted. Sam and Scout leave, and Drew calls his friend about Scout going to the academy. Sam and Scout return home, and Sam suggests they go drive by Westwood to see what it looks like. Scout opens up that she doesn't want to go to the school. Sam holds her daughter.